your story is inspiring because you got some news. It started with your sister that many families get, and if you live long enough, every family gets a cancer diagnosis. And she was sick, and she has since passed away. But her diagnosis sent you on this different direction. Can you tell us about what it was like when you got the phone call, or she came to your house and said, "Boy, this is a reality"?
Yeah, still tears me up thinking about it. It starts just a little before that. When I was just an infant, a year old, my mom died, and then when I was 31, my dad was 58. He died of heart disease, and so my sister, my best friend, we're Irish twins, 13 months apart. Friends in high school. We stayed close in college. We constantly saw each other. And then I remember I was in my friend's convertible. I got a phone call on a beautiful fall day that they had underlying, and it could be cancer. And I have this weird filter in my brain that nothing negative can go through. It's gonna be fine. It's just a benign lump, and nothing to worry about. Should be just fine. And I was coming from a Ravens game, and in the back of the car, and the phone was ringing. I didn't want to be rude, so I hopped out of the car, took the phone call, and I got the official word from my sister that it was indeed cancer, and it was unfortunately an aggressive late stage cancer.
So sorry.
Thanks.
And when did you decide, okay, this is the reality, but I think I could make a difference. I think I could do something. I can't, I'm not doctor, so I can't save her necessarily. And I can't help except for support, but maybe it could be better for another family, or maybe we could do something that could make a difference. How quickly did you decide in your brain, okay, I got to turn this into action?
Yeah, I don't remember. It was minutes, hours, or days. But that filter, again, everything's gonna be fine. I can fix this. I can solve this. We'll get over this. Again, I just could not bear losing yet another loved one. So I think that was October that phone call came, and then a month later, I was climbing in Mexico, the highest peak in Mexico, the third highest peak in North America, Pico de Orizaba, 18,500 feet, and it was a long down. It took a long time to descend. It was a rough ascent, and even it was also it doesn't stop when you get to the summit. And so on the descent, I climbed with my buddy Crony, and it just hit me, on the descent, like something. I just can't sit idly by. So I guess it was about a month later that I came up with an idea to raise money for advanced stage breast cancer. And I had met somebody a few weeks before that, just kind of doing some research, this very promising research that was being done here at Johns Hopkins on late stage cancer. They took a woman's tumor cells, chopped it up into 1 million pieces, turned off DNA, and injected it back to the woman's body, and it woke up their immune system. So this was, this was a while ago, 10, 12 ago, and no one had ever heard of immunology. And so now, fast forward, it's in use. People are using it, not because of what I did, but because we were a very small cog helping her get past her early stage research. So that's to say, I had to get active very quickly.
And you took something that you love doing, which is climbing, and that became kind of the vehicle to it became the message, it became vehicle, it became the rally cry. How did that idea come to you, or was that just like so natural because it was combining these two things that you were passionate about?
Yeah, I'm not the sharpest tool in the tool shed, but I give myself points for creativity. And so, I had always been fundraising for various things all my adult life. And so I just, all right, we need, because I talked to the researcher, I said, what do you need? And she's, I need money. And so how can I get this woman money? And so we were on it, me and my buddy Crony were climbing, and there was the Coleman 5K, and there was some, 150-mile bike rides, but I'm like, there's nobody doing a 19,500 foot expedition up the world's highest active volcano in Ecuador. So I was like, this is a pretty novel idea. I said, Crony, what if we got some of our friends together and, had them raise $5,000 each to do that? Because again, we were climbing together and we had a bunch of climbing friends, and I'm not a very good climber, but I figured, let's just do this. And so the two of us came up with this idea that we would just recruit all of our friends. And, I thought we'd get a few, but, we had over 20 people sign up for the first expedition, raising over $150,000 our first year.
And how much have you raised to date?
Well, this year we'll have raised $1 million.
And that's one of the things that you raise money for. And then the other thing you raise money for when you touch things in the nonprofit land, they kind of turn to gold, because many people work a long time and can't raise that kind of money. And that's really impressive. And yet in what you're doing, the work is never done, right? It's an ongoing, never ending, like I'm sure a climb feels partway through. You got to keep going.
I tell all the researchers, because I've become very dear friends with the researchers, like, I can't wait till you're unemployed. Yeah. I just can't wait till you no longer have a job. And when we have a cure for breast cancer, and we have a cure for multiple sclerosis, and they can go out and do something else with their lives.